Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's B. Avery here for another episode of Just My Opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And with this episode, we are talking Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 9, the season finale. It is all over. Are you satisfied? Are you happy? Was this final episode everything you wanted it to be? Well, we're going to talk about it. It's titled See How They Fly. And I'm assuming this, and I'm going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode, I strongly suggest you turn the video off now. But I'm assuming that means the squids that Ozymandias, Adrian Veidt, dropped on everybody at the end, talking about see how they fly. But we're going to talk about that. Don't want to jump too far ahead because some of you guys get frustrated when I talk about that or just jump around. But I really did dig the episode. I really did love the episode. It is not the best episode of the season. That has to go to possibly episode 6, 7, and 8. I really did like episode 6 where, Angela, took the nostalgia pills from her grandfather, Reeves, other than that scene to where, Hooded Justice was cheating on his wife and all that good stuff. But, it's still a great episode. And one of the things that I just love about this series and just this episode, in a sense, is that, they told us at the very beginning before it even started, like, you really cannot judge the show or the season until you get to about episode 6. In my humble opinion, you can't even judge the whole series until you see the whole thing, because one of the things I love is just what they did with the timeline of just how this last, like the past 3 or 4 episodes, they're just revealing more and more, connecting all the dots with the timeline, going back and forth. And sometimes it may have been a little confusing, here and there, but if you watch it a second time, or it may not be confusing for you at all, you're just really able to connect those dots. And I really love the way they tied everything in, because I believe it was my recap for episode 6 or 7, not about 7 or 8. I would have said, okay, how are they going to tie everything with Ozymandias in? He's over here doing what he's doing. We didn't realize, well, I didn't realize that he was on a moon, on a moon of Jupiter, Europa, for the longest, until it was like revealed to us. But, because when he was having a trial with all of his clones, the grandmaster was just like, okay, 365 days have passed. I'm like, wait, what's going on? But we find out he's been there for like 8, 9, 10 years. And, at the very beginning of the episode, when his daughter, that we just got revealed, Lady True, comes to save him with the spaceship or whatever, when he's going back, yes, I say it or whatever a lot, when he's flying back to planet Earth, she freezes him in some type of carbonite, like it's some episode of Star Wars, so he doesn't get dehydrated and die or go insane. I don't know how long that journey is. And he's that golden statue. But earlier in the show, she had him as the golden statue, the whole time. So this whole time that he's been on Europa, has been in the past. But one of the things that I really do like at the very beginning is he's showing the recording of him in 1985, recording the message to President Robert Redford. And he was like, hey, this is 7 years in the past. How am I able to predict this? I didn't predict it. I planned it. But then we go forward just a little bit to where we see beyond, who is the daughter / mother of Lady True. And that's just so weird. And she's going in there and getting his seed, his semen, as Lady True put it, his cum, his legacy. And she inserts it in herself. And, I want to ask my subscribers, my audience members, what do you think about this? I don't know how often this happens, but it has happened before, to where a woman will steal a man's sperm, and impregnate herself. And if that is, I just think that's wrong on all, levels. I mean, there's just no excusing that. I remember once my mom was telling me that she saw some soap opera, this is many years ago, where a woman drugged a man. He came over, she gave him a drink, and in the drink it was broken up Viagra pills and also sleeping pills, so she can knock him out, but his penis will still be hard and erect. And when he's, knocked out with a, erect penis, she does her thing and, gets pregnant by, so she can get pregnant, have a child. I mean, that's just crazy. If that's the case, and later on the son or the daughter comes and like, hey, you're my father, or, this I was conceived, without your consent, do you feel like the father should be obligated to, take care of that child? It would be nice, but, just given the circumstances, I don't necessarily think so, because that's rape in a sense. I mean, not in a sense it is, so, just, I don't know. When Lady True was approaching like, hey, I'm your daughter, and he was like, that's impossible. And it's like, hey, I'm sample 2346. I was just like, man, this is crazy. And he didn't give her a dime. He was, and Lady True didn't want to do that anyway. She was able to raise up the fortune of her, on her own, and do what she needed to do, and buy his company and all that. She was pretty powerful, just like her biological father, Adrian Veidt. Mr. Ozymandias. But I just kind of just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to ask all of y'all that. Now, in the past episode recap I did, I was just talking about how I was slightly disappointed because I wanted to see Ozymandias fight. And as he is, no, let me go back. Well, just a little bit. Why did the game master give him a horseshoe if he didn't want him to escape him? And he gave him the cake. He had to know the horseshoe was in there. And I guess he dug himself a hole and dug himself a tunnel. And then that's when the spaceship came from Lady True to rescue him. But the game warden, the grandmaster, game warden, whatever he's called, with the mask, was like, stop, I won't let you leave. I won't let you leave. I'm like, well, why did you give him the horseshoe to escape in the first place? Let me scoot more now. Middle of the camera a little bit and frame. I just don't understand that. And while I was disappointed why I really didn't see him fight, he was able to catch the bullet or whatever, because he's just that strong. He's just that badass. And so I remember, I haven't read the graphic novel, but I've seen the movie, and someone did shoot at him, and he was able to catch the bullet with his bare hands and kind of tricked him for them or whatever. But, I thought that was kind of funny and messed up. Like, I gave you a mask because I wanted you to be cruel. I've been on this Europa, this moon, for like 8 years. I had 8 years to kill, and I needed a worthy adversary. And the clone in his last moment's like, was I a worthy adversary? No, you wasn't. He just shut all of his dreams down in this last moment, and so I laughed out loud when I was like, ah! I laughed out loud when I saw that part. And then all the other clones, they were like, they just lined up and they were just ready for him to go. So they're just stranded on Jupiter, not Jupiter, but Europa, the moon of Jupiter, with nothing to do, no master to serve. And and when Adrian was launching the bodies out into space on the moon, at first it would just reveal, save me. But then it was like, save me, we found out that it was like, save me, daughter. So, I just thought that was real cool, the reveal right there. Then it jumps forward to the 7th Cavalry's base and them building the cage to capture Dr. Manhattan. And they talked about how he broke down like a zillion watches to like the tachyon particles to stop Dr. Manhattan, Calvin, to use his powers. And that's when we have Laura Blake popping back up. And then we also have Looking Glass, and when he popped up, he was like, don't say nothing. I like his voice, his accent, whatever. He's like, don't look at me, don't turn around, and whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, hell yeah, he's back. A lot of you guys predicted that he was going to show up or whatever. I'm like, yeah, he going to blow off some white supremacists' faces, some heads with that shotgun. And we didn't see that. So that's just kind of like a little disappointing to me. I know that Blake was like, blow his, the senator, like blow his face off. And he was like, then what? It's like, one gun versus, 20 up in here, like we got to kind of just think that through, and it was just kind of like the typical comic book villain thing where the senator started monologuing like, yeah, and it, because one of the things I was wanting to know, I was like, okay, how in the world did the 7th Cavalry figure out that Cal was Dr. Manhattan. And then he revealed that, just saying, well, hey, when they were going around like at midnight or 5 to midnight to shoot all the cops because they found out who they were, when Dr. Manhattan zapped him, he didn't zap him dead or blow him up. He zapped him to New Mexico. And it was like, wait, that's impossible. How can, you was here not too long ago, but then you're in Mexico, or New Mexico, which is, what was it? Hella Flats, New Mexico. Like, I can't remember if it was Mexico or New Mexico, but I know he said Mexico. You was over here, and that's impossible. And they just did deductive reasoning, put 2 and 2 together, and was like, oh man, this dude must be Dr. Manhattan. And so that is why Don Johnson's character, the police chief, was getting close to Angela and them. See, these white supremacists, man, they be having these plans, and it's just crazy. They seem like they want to be your friend and they love you, but no, they're making plans to be a god and have all the powers and things of that nature. And so I'm being kind of silly the way I said that, but anyway, it was also kind of funny to me, the black man at the newspaper, he was like, oh man, you look like Adrian Veidt, Dr. Ozymandias, but not really. You can do birthday parties and shit like that, and nobody really cares. The man disappeared for 10 years ago, and I heard that he went into the jungle and never came back. And he was like, that's absurd. But, that's when they go back in there. But I was really laughing at Laura Blake. She don't really let nothing faze her. She was like, oh my God, you look silly in those panties. I laughed out loud on that part too. And, he came back talking about, hey, I'm about to be the most powerful man alive. Waving my dick in everybody's face is just kind of like overkill. But then what the hell is Angela doing? She coming in there with her rifle or whatever. I'm like, okay, do you have a plan of action? What are you doing? I'm like, are you going to just shoot? I mean, I know you're a badass, but I mean, like, come on now. I don't know. I mean, I like the fact that she just like, I'm not just going to stand here and not do anything, but I would have came in there and just started shooting everybody from afar. Like, oh, where's the shooting at? I would have tried to kill at least 3 or 4 people before revealing myself, but that's just me. But man, did the senator really affect her and myself when he called her like, do you want to watch it? Let me just lay you down like the black bitch that you are. I was like, oh, we black bitches now. Okay. I see how it is. That's why your ass turned to goop, you dumbass. You forgot to filter the atomic energy, and that's what your ass get. So ha 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 ha. You're not as smart as you think you are. But I watched the episode twice, and at first, when I first watched it, I thought that Lady True and them had teleported to their facility, but no, she teleported everybody to Tulsa, Oklahoma on the roof or whatever. And her whole plan would have worked. But, too much power will kill you, because her opening that vat, showing the senator turn into goop or whatever, the liquid came over and went into the cage. And then Cal, Dr. Manhattan, was able to teleport, Looking Glass, Ozymandias, and Laura Blake, to his lab or whatever to save the day. And I was just kind of confused at first. I was like, okay, I thought the cage allowed him not to use his powers, but I'm assuming that it just limited him from using his powers. So that's that. But one of the things that did kind of like frustrate me was Angela is sitting on the outside of the cage. And I mean, it was a beautiful moment. She was like, where are you right now? And he was like, at first he was like, I'm in 1985. But then he was like, I'm in every moment that we were together. And she started crying or whatever. The acting was great. The music, the score, soundtrack, whatever, that was fantastic too. But he was like, tell me how I can save you. Tell me what to do. Why don't you go over there and do a flying dragon kick to Lady True's face and beyond or whatever? Like, she just over there pressing the buttons and activating the device. I understand you don't got no gun, but can Lady True fight? Can Beyond fight? I'm like, what are you doing? I like, go over there and just start, giving her 2, 3, 4 pieces to the face. A jump, dive, kick or something. Go break the machine. I'm like, go pick up a chair and hit the machine, the controls. Like, go push the off button. You know what I'm saying? Unplug that mofo. I was just like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, Am I missing something here? Because I saw the episode twice. I'm like, try to turn the machine off. Try to unplug it. Try to break it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They were just kind of like, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? But it's just really interesting because I was really thinking that the Millennium Clock was going to do something to like, save the day really. But it ends up that Lady True is the villain, and I'm just like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And like this episode for me was a bit anticlimactic. I kind of wanted to see guns blazing and like a big action scene and some Dr. Manhattan powers and maybe she somewhere siphoned a little bit of his powers and he escaped and we had a power battle between him as a guy that's weakened and then her with some of the powers or just somebody with some of the powers but not all of the powers, some hand-to-hand combat or I don't know, what I'm saying? And it just Laura Blake and then Looking Glass, they really just didn't have much to do in this episode. I mean, I was waiting for him to come back. He wasn't able to fire his gun once, but before all of that popped off, something that I really did like is like one of the white Don Johnson's character, his wife, was like, what are you going to do with us? So whatever. And she's like, oh, Beyond, can you please give me that paper that Reeves gave me? And she's like, you dumbass white supremacists have come to an end. You have raped and pillaged my people for 100 years in this exact spot. And I was like, yes, justice, yes. Read it to him. And she was like, just do it. She's like, do what? You're going to kill us. No. She turned around and hit the button. I would have read and I was like, no, bitch, you're going to hear my speech. You're going to hear, I'm going to read it 10 times to your ass. You know what I'm saying? And pick up the guns, my people. And if they try to move, well, no, she had the lasers anyway. She would have heard my speech. And when I was done reading it like 7 times and rubbed it in the face, I would have went and shoved the paper down her throat. You know what I'm saying? I really wanted them to suffer more instead of just getting zapped away. I don't know. I would have went up to them and shot them all in their kneecaps and their ankles and their elbows and their shoulders. I don't know, put the gun right here and blow a bullet hole through their jaw and make it come out just enough to where they just don't die. I would have just, let them suffer and bleed out, ate some popcorn. I would have, my plan probably would have been 4, but no, their asses would have suffered. Okay, if they making the Cyclops bullshit, if they're up here making movie projections to where it's brainwashing black people to kill each other, kill themselves, no, these are true spawns of Satan here. Not even spawns of Satan. They're just truly evil Satan people. You know what I'm saying? They're going to suffer. They are going to suffer. So, I was just like, damn. When she was reading Reeves' letter, I was like, oh yes, just put it to them, man. Read it to them, rub it in their face. But I wanted them to suffer more. That's just me, man. That is just me. But anyway, this is when I'm talking about Looking Glass as well, when they were transported to his base and he's getting everything revealed, like, oh my gosh, you single-handedly killed 3 million people, the biggest, atrocity in recorded history of mankind. Well, I think he called him, he's like, you ignorant hayseed, I saved the world, or I saved humanity, or whatever, and then that was it. I wanted more emotion from Looking Glass, as well. But they ended up freezing. He ended up freezing the squid. Everything comes down and destroys everything. I was like, damn, when Lady True was looking in her hand, she had like a golf ball size hole in her hand. But something else didn't really make sense to me. How in the hell did Blake know the phone number to the booth? I don't get it. I mean, am I missing something? She called like, they're coming from the sky. Get out of there. Because I just don't know how she would know the phone number. I don't know. If you know, please let me know down in the comment section. But whatever. But at this point in time, I was like, damn, this is kind of anticlimactic. I kind of wanted it a little bit more in this season finale. But what brought it back up to me is when Angela should have just stayed in the booth. And she was kind of being buddy, when the squids was coming down, she was kind of being like a little buddy with Beyond. I was like, no, you part of this too, you crazy lady, but she picked up the thing, the case, and she ran over to the theater, and I'm assuming that she did not know that her grandfather and children were in there. And, he was sitting there, and I just love how everything just circled back around to where he was in that same spot 100 years ago watching Bad Freeze. And that was a powerful scene right there. And, you know, he was like, you know, is he gone? And she was like, yes. And he's like, is she gone? He's like, I'm sorry about that. He's like, is she gone too? She's like, yes. She's like, I'm not so sorry about that. And he's like, look, you know, this was his plan years ago when he came to me. He was able to see the future, and, you know, he gave himself up, and, you know, this is kind of how he wanted to end. But later on, in the, you know, and, well, I don't want to jump too forward. And, you know, he had the kids up there, and it's like they were knocked out, or the wind was knocked out of them when they was teleported. They've been asleep ever since. You know, they're fine, because I was waiting for that to come around too. But the music and that piano playing in the background, and like the Negro spiritual sound or whatever, I mean, it was beautiful. I'm being silly, but no, it was beautiful, whatever. I really did love that scene. I was looking forward to it again the second time I watched it. You know, it was just, you know, Angela's over there hurt because, you know, the love of her life, you know, was disintegrated or whatever. You know, he was like, hey, you know, if you want, you got to break a few, you know, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. And she turned to him like, what are you talking about? Just the way she turned was so quick, you know, and she's like, it doesn't make sense right now. He's like, well, it's not the right time, you know, and they walk out of there, and, you know, they play the other song, and, you know, she invites him over to the crib, and, you know, she finds a device in his head, and well, no, let me back up. I mean, when he was, you know, explaining his position as well, and the origin of hooded justice, and, you know, that you take my pills, and, you know, when you put, so he's like, yes, so you know my whole life story, you know my origin story. He's like, you know, when you put on the mask or whatever, how did it make you feel? And she was like, anger. She was like, no, it's really just fear. And he was just letting her know, like, I've already walked down this path. You know, I'm like 107 years old. You know, a mask don't heal pain. You know, wounds need air. I just thought the whole thing was just beautiful, you know, and, you know, like, I really hope that they have a relationship, because she was just so mad at him. And I don't know if it's just completely warranted or whatever, but, you know, I just thought it was dope that, you know, they had this scene right there. Like I said, it was a beautiful scene. And, you know, I like at the end where he was like, no, do you need help? And, you know, when she was trying to clean up the eggs. And as soon as they showed that egg crate, I was like, what are they about to do? What are they about to reveal? When she opened it up, I was like, oh my God, did he put the powers in the egg or whatever? And, you know, she goes out there, and she, you know, consumes the egg. I hope she don't get sick. And I was like, man, they're not going to show it. They're going to cut it off right when she puts her foot on the water. And that's exactly, you know, what they did, kind of just leave it ambiguous and open for you. And then I was kind of like, is she glowing? But I was like, no, that's probably just a reflection on the water, you know. But, you know, then that's the end of the episode. You know, Red scared, got in the car, you know, he's not dead. But, you know, it was a great episode, guys. It's not my favorite. I still wanted a little bit more, but I still enjoyed the episode, and I still enjoyed the series. And so, you know, we're just going to have to see. I don't think they're going to do a season 2. The writer, Damon Lindelof, said that this was just really a beginning, middle, and end. He just wanted this to be one season following the graphic novel for Watchmen. So they don't have any plans to do part 2. But, I mean, that just could be a negotiation tactic. No, they all, for the most part, writers and directors, they never just come out like, yeah, I'm so excited for season 2 unless it's already part of their contract, you know. But it was a great episode. It was a great series. I know a lot of y'all was telling me that I need to read the graphic novel. Maybe I will one day, but it ain't gonna be anytime soon. Not that I just don't want to. It's just I literally don't have the time. I really don't. I have so much I want to install in the pipeline, and I have to prioritize. But guys, what did you think about the series? What did you think about the episode, the ending? You know, did you get to see everything you wanted? Did you want more? Or, you know, just let me know what you think. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. But guys, that is just my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you like the video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I just reached 17,000 subscribers, so thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate it. I'm still very small here in the YouTube space, but hey, you know, I'm trying to grow, and I would love to reach 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year and start out the new year, the new decade, with 20,000 subscribers in the year 2020. I just need your help. Just click on that subscribe button. Also, look me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All that good stuff is right there at the bottom of your screen. And I also have links in the description box and the pinned comments. All you got to do is just click on the link and then click the follow button. It's that easy, and you help me boy out. At least help me reach 1,000 followers on Instagram. And guys, my email is bavery, Bavery at justmyopinion.net, Bavery at justmyopinion.net. One of you or a couple of you told me that you tried to follow me on Instagram, but you got some type of message or pop-up talking about blocked. I didn't block you. I don't know what that's about. Please email me that print screen, because that's ridiculous. I've been hearing just other people talking about how they're having trouble with people following them as well. So we just need to get to the bottom of this. So help me out there. But guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget to always chase your dreams, because I'm chasing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.